Welcome into Crystal Ball College Football. I'm your host, Grayson, and we're talking about the Texas A&M Aggies today. And sadly, it's not great news, right? Texas A&M, of course, had one of the biggest upset losses of the weekend. They lost to Appalachian State. That's tough. That's really tough. And I remember on Saturday looking up and seeing that score and just being pretty shocked. I mean, A&M was a 17.5-point favorite. It seemed like this was going to be a fairly easy win. And I think if you watched Appalachian State the week before against North Carolina, you pretty much thought, okay, we know Texas A&M's defense is good. We know that Appalachian State's probably not scoring 30 on them. And this team just gave up 63 points the weekend before. So it's reason to think, okay, A&M's probably going to win this game, probably at worst 34-17. At worst. That was not the case. A&M lost this game 17-14. Not only did they lose this game, Appalachian State went into College Station. They collected a $1.5 million paycheck. They walked out with a win. They took College Game Day from Texas A&M as they were going to go to College Station for A&M versus Miami. Now they're going to Boone to watch Appalachian State take on Troy. I mean, could it have gone any worse? I don't think so. This is just a shocking situation. If you're an Appalachian State fan, congrats, because that's a heck of a win. And just looking at everything that benefited that program with College Game Day, the money they brought in, one heck of a weekend if you're an Appalachian State fan. Now, just kind of looking at the game and kind of what happened overall to A&M, I mean, offensively, what was that? I mean, you look at kind of just everything about that team on this day. Haynes King looked completely uncomfortable. And I know people have brought this up, and I saw it during the game and was just kind of like, what is he doing? And then I remembered, this was the same thing with Kellen Mond. You're watching Haynes King run around with the football right by his ear because it's something that Jimbo has taught them. And you saw Kellen Mond do this too, and it makes the quarterback look so robotic in the pocket. It just looks so uncomfortable. So that was just one thing that I took away. But anyways, on the offensive side, 9 first downs the entire game. 9 first downs. They were 2 of 8 on third down. They had 186 total yards of offense, 2 turnovers, and the worst part of it all, 18 minutes time of possession. 18 minutes against Appalachian State. This is an Appalachian State team that gave up 352 yards passing, 215 yards rushing, and 63 points against North Carolina. And that was at Appalachian State. What in the world did everyone just witness on Saturday with A&M? I look at this team and I'm going, okay, week 1, I saw them not run the ball well at all against Sam Houston State, and I thought, okay, it's a fluke. Sam Houston State, pretty good FCS program. Maybe it was just fluky. Well, they turned right around and they ran for 96 yards and averaged 3.86 yards per carry. I'm just in utter disbelief at the fact that they can't turn around and run the football. I'm in utter disbelief that they can't figure out a way to generate easy throws for Haynes King. They have a mobile quarterback with Haynes King, and they can't figure out a way to utilize that. They can't get Devon Achane really going at all. And he's one of the most explosive playmakers in the entire country. And yeah, he had 10 carries for 66 yards in this game. And he returned, he had a special teams touchdown as well. So he was great. He found a way to be explosive. But on the offensive side, they're just not finding ways to get him the ball enough. And you look at the weapons that they have with Aniyah Smith and Evan Stewart, 2 of the most explosive playmakers that you're going to see in college football. And they can hardly get them going at all offensively. Haynes King, 13 of 20 for 97 yards on the day. It's just utterly disappointing. And I think when you kind of look at this team in general, you thought, okay, here are the things I know about A&M. They're going to be able to play great defense, and they're going to be able to run the football. The problem is, so far during this year, they have not been able to run the football. And that's because no one is respecting Haynes King. No one is respecting any explosivity in this offense at all. They're saying, go ahead, take shots deep. We're going to bet that you're not going to connect on very many of them. And so far, that has been 1,000% accurate. And so now, when you take away the run game, and you kind of look at the offense as a whole, Jimbo has to decide basically right now of, do you just stick with what you're doing and just pray that something changes, something works, or do you make a change at the quarterback position? Now, here's the problem with their quarterbacks. With Haynes King, he's mobile, and so that was a big reason why they decided to go with him. Mobile, he had a good fall camp, so he won the job. Max Johnson, less mobile, probably a better thrower of the football, but if you're giving up pressure and if you're not able to run the football, will he be able to hold up? And then the last one, of course, is Connor Weigman, who was a big-time recruit, 5-star guy, a quarterback who I think is going to be very special at some point, but he's young. He's young, and it really felt like he wasn't going to be the guy from the moment fall camp started. It felt like it was between Max and Haynes. But just kind of looking at this team in general, I think Jimbo has kind of looked at Georgia and been like, hey, look, they're winning with their defense. They're winning with, this physical, gritty style, and this is what I want to do at A&M. The problem is they're not good enough up front, and they don't have the quarterback good enough to move this offense and get them first down conversions on third down. And so I think he needs to make a decision right now. And the decision has to come down to, am I willing to say, hey, I'll give up some turnovers, I'll give up some growing pains, but I'm going to put Connor Weigman in the game, and we're going to throw the football, and I'm going to create explosive plays with all these 5-star athletes that I have. And if that puts more pressure on the defense, that's fine, because I trust my defense to be able to make enough plays to make up for it. But there is no reason that this team shouldn't be able to put up more points than they have. So that's my take on the offense. As far as the defense goes, they were great, to be honest. I mean, if you're an A&M fan, you got to be thrilled with what you saw. If you kind of look at the overall totals, you see 17 points and 315 yards. But Appalachian State had the ball for 42 minutes because A&M could do nothing offensively. The offense also gave up a fumble at the 29-yard line, which led to a touchdown. And also they had another fumble that led to another touchdown. So Appalachian State had 14 points off of the 2 A&M turnovers. So in general, their defense is very, very good. Their defense is going to give them a chance to win pretty much every game on their schedule. But if the offense can't do anything, it won't matter. It won't matter at all. And I think when you look at what A&M's built, you look at the fact that in 2019, they had the number 4 recruiting class in the country. In 2020, they had the number 6. In 2021, they had the number 8. And in 2022, they had the number 1 overall class. There is no excuse for losing to Appalachian State at home. 0. And the other part of it is they didn't just lose to them. There was clearly a better team on Saturday, and it was not Texas A&M. So now, looking forward to what's next for A&M, they have Miami, Arkansas, at Mississippi State, at Alabama. There's a chance this team goes 1-5. And if they play like they did on Saturday, they will go 1-5 to start the season. And in this bunch right here, they got to figure out a way to pull off 2 of these wins. If they want to get any chance of getting close to the success they hope for at the beginning of the season, they have to go 2-2, maybe even 3-1 to really reach expectations. But a really tough week for Texas A&M, really tough week. It's just tough when you lose a game like that to a school that you really have no business losing to, especially when you see the product on the field that was like that, where there wasn't really anything fluky to it at all. So thanks for joining today. I'll talk more about some of my other thoughts and takeaways from the week. There'll be a lot more positives going forward in the week, but these were some of the more massive storylines that I took away from this past Saturday. So thanks for joining Crystal Ball College Football with Grayson.